Hello everyone, we are in week 7 and we're going to be covering chapter 4, consciousness. So we're going to go ahead and skip down to the learning objectives. And as you'll see, we're going to be covering the logistics of consciousness, what it means to be conscious, as well as the different phases of sleep, otherwise known as stages, and biologically what happens during those stages and why is sleep so important, especially the REM stage of sleep. We'll get into some sleep disorders, which is actually part of the topic for the discussion post this week. And then into some theories as to why people dream. We'll take a look at some interesting cultural differences about dream content, as well as some hypotheses as to what really are the meanings of dreams. We'll touch on some Freud, but we'll also touch on some neurobiology of dreams, and then further get into hypnotic states. So, what is hypnosis? Why does it work? How does it work? Why doesn't it work on everybody? And just looking at it as a altered sense of consciousness. And then we'll segue into meditation, how meditation is another form of consciousness where you can really relax and receive some benefits like pain-free and just better sleep by using and practicing meditation. We'll take a look briefly at psychoactive drugs and how this can affect sleep, as well as what stimulants, depressants, hallucinogens, and the such affect our levels of consciousness. And then taking a look at some of the inner workings of our consciousness. So it's a fun chapter. It's interesting. A lot of students really like this material. So hopefully you can have some fun with it. The videos that you'll be watching this week in my psych lab all come from episode 6, which is on consciousness. The discussion for this week, as I said, we're going to be taking a look at some of the research on sleepwalking and determining whether or not it should be used as a valid defense for a crime as serious as murder, and any other crimes. So really what you're doing here is you're extrapolating. You are reading the main information from the chapter. You're going to read Hawk reading number 6, and you're going to come to the conclusion based on the research of whether you think sleepwalking should be or could be a valid defense for a crime like murder. And when you respond, you shouldn't just respond with what you think or your opinion, but based on the research, based on the evidence, and what science says about what happens when we sleep, what state of consciousness are we in, can it and should it be used as a defense? And if so, what kind of evidence would be required to convince a jury that a crime was committed during sleepwalking? So that's kind of one part. And then the very last part, question number 3, is where you're going to get into some theories on why we dream. Are our dreams a way for our unconscious thoughts to be played out? So in other words, there's things that go on below our conscious level that we're really not aware of. And does it just seep out in our dreams? Is it a way for our mind to kind of let things out that we wouldn't think while we are awake or while we're conscious? Or do dreams mean something? Are they the result of neural firings during sleep? This is more of a neurobiological perspective on dreams and sleeping. And so would this make sense, seeing as how our brain emits energy and what it's being used for during the day is versus how we're using our brain when we're sleeping and when we're at rest. So remember to back up all your opinions and ideas with evidence that you see in the videos. as well as in the chapter reading and in the article reading. You should be citing those sources and citing them properly. I've noticed that there's just a variety of citations happening in some of the posts, and this shouldn't really be happening anymore. We are in week 7. You have ample feedback from prior posts about how you should be citing. I've posted the Cite as You Write document, and I've referenced it many, many times to use as a resource to show you how to cite sources. What do I do when I'm taking a direct quote? What do I do when I'm just paraphrasing material? It's all there, but I'm still seeing people just really not paying attention and just citing however they'd like. And that's that's not okay. You need to cite in APA format. That's what's required for the class. And that's really, if you're a psych major, how you should always be citing in every class. If you're not a psych major, chances are you might even still be using APA format because many other disciplines use it. So that's what I would advise for as you're working through these discussion posts. You should really be integrating all of your sources and very nicely developing your posts, especially to your responses to what other people are saying. So that's the way to be getting a 10 out of 10 on these discussion board posts. Okay, so here I've pinned the Cite as You Write instructions once again, just for easy reference. Your quiz this week will close on Friday, the 8th, and then you have an exam, which is going to close on Sunday, the 10th, and the exam is covering chapters 4 and 6. Okay, so that wraps up the week. Definitely let me know if you have questions, especially as you're going through your posts this week. If you just want to check in or you have any questions, definitely email me and let me know. I would be glad to help. Some people do, and I give feedback, and I've noticed it's very helpful. So keep that in mind. Okay, have a good week, everyone.